Well, for you bettors in New Jersey, I love telling you about PointsBet, and they're very much in the news, and we're going to keep following that story closely. But it's a premium sports book in the state of New Jersey, and our preferred way to bet here at VSiN. They've got so many good promos out there. No juice Saturdays for every football game on Saturday. PointsBet is offering plus 100 odds on spreads and totals. Download that PointsBet app today. You're going to get $1,000 in risk-free bets. Sign up with the code now, VSiN, V-S-I-N, VSiN. New Jersey only. Must be 21 or older. Additional terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. PointsBet. Stay sharp. And it's a pleasure to have Johnny Aitken, the CEO of PointsBet, with us right now, because little did I know, Johnny, but PointsBet, there is such a thing as points betting. Americans are not very familiar with it. You use it on Australia, where the company began, and in New Jersey. And it was fascinating because the headlines around the country that I caught up with, and actually over in Europe, that you had lost more than $1 million in this points betting. Now, so many people listening, and let me include myself, are not quite sure how this works. Johnny, can you walk us through exactly what is points betting and how these two big hitters came away with so much money? How are you, my man?
Really good, Brent. How are you? And thanks so much for having me on the show. Sure. So points betting is very much a unique bet type, and it's unique to PointsBet only. We're the only bookmaker both in Australia and the US that offers this bet type. And how points betting is different from a normal bet. With a normal bet, you simply win or lose. It's a fixed amount. If you win, you typically double your money, and if you lose, you lose. With points betting, the more you're right, the more you win. And in this case, on Sunday, we had a client, a big VIP client, who had $30,000 a point on the Ravens spread line at -6, and very much sort of luckily enough for him, he walked away with $600,000, and I'll explain how he did that. So he took, as I said, the points betting bet of the -6 spread line. He had $30,000 a point, and he set a stop loss of 20 either way. So 20x his stake was his max win and his max loss. In some respects, he actually could have won a lot more, because obviously the Ravens went on to win 59-10, but he was capped at 20x win. So he won 20x his stake, which was $600,000.
Johnny, that's fascinating. So he was paid per point above the point spread. Now what happened? Right. Now what happens if let's say the Dolphins win by 3? Okay, and what? Give me the math on that. I'd like to know the reverse of this.
Well, I came in again to the office on Sunday, Brent, dressed in teal, and fortunately the Dolphins couldn't do it for PointsBet here. But if the Dolphins were in a scenario to win by 3, they would have covered the spread by 9, so that client would have lost 9 times his stake, which would have been $270,000. The thing with points betting is you can well tell it's really a bet that elevates the betting experience. Every point matters, every moment matters. Even in the last quarter of an NFL game, you're glued to the edge of your seat, you're watching the TV, because every moment counts. A miscatch or a late touchdown impacts your bet. And that's what we're looking to bring to the US market. Heightened excitement. Obviously, not everyone can bet $30,000 a point. The average bet size we normally take on our points betting markets is closer to $10, but it is very much an exciting way to bet.
No, you can bet $10, and that was my next question. Can someone like a $10 or a $20 bettor do the same thing at PointsBet?
For sure. So even last night on the Oakland Raiders-Broncos game, we offered Derek Carr passing yards over under, let's call it 300 yards. And you might just want to lay down $1 per yard. And if Derek Carr gets on a heater and throws for 400 passing yards, you've beaten, again, the spread by 100 times, and you win $100. So this bet type only, again, doesn't just cater to whale VIP clients who want to bet big. It also caters to people that just want to have a small interest and, again, sort of bet small and sort of dream big and win big as well.
Mike Palm, you've got a question for Johnny.
I do, Johnny. So in that case, let's say the bettor wanted the dollar on over 300, right? Does he have to put up $300? Because in case Derek Carr has 0 yards, he would lose 300, correct?
Yeah, listen, it is set. The maximum min loss on every market is set so uniquely. In that case, typically the base limit for that type of market is typically set at 100 yards either way. Ride times a loss or 100 times a win. But we also have the stop loss function. So if a client in some respects wants to ride a maximum of 10x up or down, they can set that in. So if Derek Carr got sacked on the first play and got carried off the field, the max loss in that instance would be 10x their stake. Or if he threw for 400 yards, a client, again, would be capped at sort of 10x. So I guess it really allows the client to choose, again, their own adventure, their own sort of risk appetite. I must say that the American people do love to bet. They do love to take a higher risk, and they do love to ride that sort of volatility.
For the gentleman that won the $600,000 on the Raiders with the 20x times 30,000, though, he has to put up the $600,000 that he might lose on it if the Dolphins won by 14, correct?
That's right. So again, we're obviously talking about a person that has a big sort of betting balance and is happy to stake that kind of money. It's obviously very unique, and it's clearly the biggest points betting bet we've ever struck, and obviously the biggest points betting bet ever struck on sort of US sort of legal sports betting soil. So I think that client is very unique. Like I said, the average bet size typically is around $10, and the average withheld amount typically is around $100 to $200.
Hey, Johnny, it's Vinny. These guys don't care, but I'll give you a little sympathy, buddy. Well done. I can feel for it. Just a question for you. This week, with the Dolphins being up to almost 19 and been climbing, any thought as to changing, or is it open to any team? And by the way, when you say market, you're what we refer to, that's a matchup. So every game or every particular wager is what you're referring to there. So I just wanted to clarify that. But the Patriots this week is 19-point favorites. What are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are that you just want to be getting on the Patriots minus 19. It's very hard to see how the Dolphins can turn anything around. They look pretty bad, as you could well imagine. I watched the game pretty closely on Sunday. When I talked to, I've spoken to a lot of journalists over the last 24 hours. I think they were hoping that I was sitting there cheering for the client to lose. That isn't the case at points, but I'm rapt the clients had the big win. That's what we hope that people have wins, and that's how sort of betting continues. But listen, I think sort of the Patriots minus 19 is a good bet. I think Tom Brady passing yards, let's think that's probably going to be set around 350 over under, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. But the thing about this product as well that I guess didn't mention is that it, again, is not only offered on the main core markets, we also offer a slew of prop markets. So it allows us to build markets on the time of first minute scored for a touchdown over under 9 minutes, the amount of sacks are recorded in a game over under 5. It really is sort of limitless as the amount of products that we can build. And again, it's all about building products that people, again, want to engage with and have bets on.
Johnny, I spent a long time living in Chicago, and there was a commodities broker who lived right below me, got up really early in the morning, was done drinking his bourbon by mid-afternoon. I got to tell you, this points betting is made for guys who deal in commodities and gamble big sums every day. I have to tell you that right now. I see the shadow of Manhattan behind you.
You can look over my left shoulder, Brent. You can see all those guys over there. They love points betting.
It's the Wall Street guys. I mean, it's right down the middle of the plate for them. That's what they do for a living, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Listen, unfortunately, I sort of get to look at New York every day. I just wish it would come live soon, because I know everyone on sort of Wall Street will be betting up big on points betting, and we'll see what happens with New York, but I think Chicago as well. It's a market that's definitely going to resonate with people that understand financial derivatives. And again, it's not just about being right, it's about being really right, and I think it suits those types of people for sure.
Do you use it on basketball, Johnny? Is it?
We do, Brent. Yeah. So, funny story, I'll sort of explain it quickly. The first ever bet we took in New Jersey was a bet on the time of first three-point shot being made in a Cleveland Cavaliers game versus the Indiana Pacers. And luckily for PointsBet, the client at the time took $20 a second over 100 seconds. And on this occasion, a player came down at the 20-second mark, swished a three-pointer, and that client lost 80 times his stake. And I spoke to the client the next day, and this client is a well-known professional bettor on the US market, and he explained to me that sports betting to him had become quite numb. It's just numbers and winning, and having that bet was the first time in a while that he was on the edge of his seat watching the game through a different lens, and he's since gone on to have a lot of points bets because he's found it very entertaining. And obviously we do want people to bet within their means, but it does again provide a different form of entertainment when you have a points bet and ride again, unlimited upside at certain times. It's a great feeling, obviously.
It's been great talking about you because you've got those props that go on. No Juice Saturday. I keep reminding everybody about that. So, Johnny Aitken, the CEO of PointsBet in New Jersey, live with us via Skype. Johnny, thanks, my man. I hope you have better luck this weekend on points betting.
Thank you, Brent. I hope so. Thanks so much, Brent. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
John.